Hello and welcome back, or if you're new here, hi, I'm Veronica, a Canadian registered dietitian specializing in heart health. Now, before we get started, I wanted to be very transparent to disclose that I've partnered with the Canadian Sugar Institute to make this informative video and introduce you to the food label changes to help you navigate how you can use these in your health journey. They gave me complete freedom of what and how to design this video for you. And sponsors really make it possible for me to create free resources like this video. That being said, just because the Canadian Sugar Institute did sponsor this video does not mean that it influenced any of the information that I'm delivering for you today. My opinions are always my own. So let's get started. Whenever there are new changes to food labels from Health Canada, my audience has questions, and that's why I'm excited to have this opportunity to walk you through these changes today. So before we begin, let me know your thoughts on these new food labels. Have you seen them? Are you using them? Do you find them helpful? Comment below, let me know. I really would love to hear from you. Okay, let's get started with the basics. So what are these new front of package labels? The new front of package nutrition symbols are intended to help Canadians identify prepackaged foods that are high in saturated fat, sugars, and/or sodium. These symbols aim to support informed choices and reduce the risk of chronic diseases like strokes, obesity, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, to name a few. So Canadians can use them to make quick comparisons between products in the same categories like soups or cereals perhaps. So the new label features a magnifying glass and the phrase high in sugar, saturated fats, and/or sodium. It will appear on the product's front of package and must meet specific size requirements for easy visibility. The new label applies to most pre-packaged foods, but there are some health-related, practical, and technical exemptions. Some exemptions are whole fruits and vegetables, plain milk and yogurt, raw meats, food sold at farmers markets, very small packages, maybe like mini chocolate bars perhaps, and packaged individual portions meant to be served at restaurants, for example, individual creamers. The front of package nutrition symbol is required for food that exceeds set thresholds for saturated fat, sugars, and/or sodium based on a percentage of the daily value per serving, or the reference amount, whichever is larger. Thresholds vary by food category and reference amount. Okay, so let's break down when you'll actually see this new front of package symbol, because the rules can sound way more complicated than they really are. Basically, foods have to show the symbol if they exceed the threshold for saturated fat, sugar, or sodium, and how high depends on the type of food. For most everyday foods like soups, cereals, or deli meat, the symbol shows up if the food has more than 15% or more daily value for saturated fat, sugar, or sodium. So if you see that symbol, it means that the nutrient exceeds this threshold. Then we have main dishes like frozen meals, pizzas, or other ready-made to eat items. So since these are meant to be a full meal, the threshold is higher. These foods need a front of package symbol if they have 30% or more of the daily value for saturated fat, sodium, or sugar. And one more detail, for meals specifically made for kids, ages 1 to 4, the serving size they use is a bit smaller, around 170 grams, but the idea is the same. If it exceeds the value of 30% or more, the symbol has to be there. So the takeaway here is that the symbol isn't saying never eat this product, it's just a quick heads up that the food is higher, and it helps to compare those foods more easily in the grocery store. But this shouldn't be the only tool you use to evaluate the nutrient density of a product. Now let's talk about what the symbol actually looks like on the product, because this part is all about it making it easy to spot. So this nutrition symbol has to appear the same way on every product. Companies aren't allowed to move it around or design it differently, and that's on purpose. The goal is for your eye to find it quickly, no matter what you're buying. There are rules for the size, the location, and even the language used on the symbol. So first, let's look at the size. The size of the symbol depends on the size of the package. So a small package will have a smaller symbol, and a big package will have a bigger one. That way it's always visible and doesn't get lost on the label. Next is the location, which is probably the most important part. For most packages, the symbol has to be placed on the upper half of the label so it's not hidden near the bottom. And if the package is wider than it is tall, things like frozen pizza or maybe a wide snack box, the symbol has to be placed on the right-hand side of the front of the package. So again, this is all about consistency. Same look, same general spot, easy to find, so you don't have to hunt for nutrition info while you're standing in the grocery store. Okay, let's look at a real life example now, because this is where the front of package symbol can be really put into context. So let's imagine you're standing in that smoothie aisle and you pick up a smoothie and it says high in sugar. At first glance, it may seem like a hard no, but then when you flip the package over and you look at the nutrition facts panel, you may see that it's a source of fiber, providing 2 grams of fiber per cup. You may also see that's a source of potassium, a nutrient Health Canada identifies as underconsumed, and it's also important in blood pressure regulation according to the DASH diet. On top of that, it's higher in vitamin A, vitamin C, as well as zinc and manganese. And then when you look at the ingredient list, you can see that even though the front of package symbol says high in sugar, the sugars are actually coming from naturally occurring sugars and not added sugars. So while the front of package does flag high in sugars, this product also provides several nutrients and can very well fit into a healthy dietary pattern. So I think this is a great example why the front of package symbol is meant to be a starting point and not necessarily the whole story, because it only highlights that one nutrient. In this case, it's sugars, but it doesn't tell you about the fiber, the vitamins and minerals, which are also part of the picture. So instead of asking, is this food good or bad? I think a more helpful question is, how can this fit into my overall day or meal? So for example, pairing this smoothie that's rich in fruits and vegetables with a protein source and maybe a healthy fat can be a well-balanced meal. So you can maybe pair this smoothie with some peanut butter, whole grain toast, hemp seeds, and that makes a really balanced breakfast. So now suddenly that high in sugar symbol doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. And so using that nutrition facts table, the ingredient list, and the front of package symbol together really matters. So no single label is the full story, but together they give you the information that you really need to make that informed choice. And here's another really good example. This time it's with canned soup, because this is where I get questions all the time as a heart health dietitian. A lot of soups are going to have this high in sodium symbol on the front. And when people see that, they automatically assume that this soup or any canned soup isn't a healthy choice. But let's flip it over and actually look at that nutrition facts and actually look at the label. This pea soup provides 8 grams of plant-based protein in just 1 cup. It's a very high source of fiber. It's also a source of iron and potassium, which are nutrients that most Canadians can use more of. And then when you check out the ingredient list, it's actually really simple. There are only 8 ingredients, and yellow peas are the second ingredient, which tells you this soup is built around whole foods. So yes, it's higher in sodium, and that's what that front of package symbol is flagging, but it's not telling you the full nutrition story. Here's how I like to explain this. When it comes to sodium, you have a daily budget for the day. The Heart and Stroke Foundation recommends keeping sodium under 2,000 milligrams per day. And then it's up to you about how you want to spend that. So if that means enjoying a bowl of soup on a cool day or on a night when you don't feel like cooking, that can absolutely fit into a heart healthy eating pattern, especially when that soup also gives you fiber, plant-based protein, and other important nutrients. So again, the takeaway isn't to avoid the food, it's to use that front of package symbol as a cue and then turn it over, look at that nutrition facts panel, the ingredient list, to decide how it fits into your day. And for many people, soups like this can still be a really nourishing, heart healthy choice. So in conclusion, I suggest using this front of package label as just one tool. It can be useful if you don't have a lot of time when you're in the grocery store and you want to make a quick, informed choice. But as a dietitian, I urge you to continue to look at the nutrition facts panel to make sure the foods you're choosing are still high in the nutrients that will benefit you, like more fiber and vitamins and minerals like iron and potassium. Depending on your health goals, it's really important to get that full picture of what the food's really offering. So what are my top 3 tips? Well, use that front of package symbol as a tool to help you make a quick decision when you're comparing a few items at the grocery store. That way you only have to flip over 1 or 2 products to read that nutrition facts panel or the ingredient list. I really encourage you to continue to read that nutrition facts panel and look for foods that provide greater than 15% of our intake of fiber, vitamins, and minerals, as well as continuing to look at that ingredient list. So consider your health goals. So foods labeled high in sugar may be adding the sugar to make foods taste better so you can get the nutrients that you need more of, like fiber or vitamins and minerals, yet still falls within your budget for the day. I really hope this video helps you make informed decisions when you're at the grocery store to choose foods that work towards your health goals, as well as foods that you can enjoy. So for additional information, make sure you check out that description box below of how to access Health Canada's website for more information about these front of package labels. Again, I want to thank the Canadian Sugar Institute for sponsoring today's video. I really hope you enjoyed the review of how to use these front of package labels. Now please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more information like this from me, a registered dietitian. And lastly, be sure to comment below. Let me know, are you using these front of package labels? Do you find them helpful? Or are you going to start to use them? I think this whole community will benefit from your comments. So thanks again for watching.